The Miami Heat have been unfortunate in their recent star pursuits, but they are on the verge of catching a tremendous break with Bradley Beal. Beal is currently in year 4 of a 5-year, $251 million contract with the Phoenix Suns. However, that is expected to change soon. And when it does, the Heat are expected to be among the teams that register an interest in the 3-time All-Star and 1-time All-NBA pick. If they are, the Heat could land Beal at a significant discount, making him a bargain. With a Bradley Beal buyout being imminent, per a source, I'm anticipating he gives up $13.9 million of his remaining $110.8 million, which would then clear the way for the Suns to waive and stretch the resulting $96.9 million over 5 years and duck both tax aprons, PHNX Suns' Gerald Burgett reported on X on July 6. Beal averaged 17.0 points on 57.1% EFG, with 3.7 assists and 3.3 rebounds. He also shot 38.6% from beyond the arc and has experience working on and off the ball. That could make Beal a strong fit for the Heat alongside Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo. Heat's interest in Damian Lillard could bode well for Bradley Beal. There would be defensive questions in a backcourt featuring Beal and Herro. The Heat's rumored continued interest in former Milwaukee Bucks star Damian Lillard, per the Associated Press Tim Reynolds in June, could bode well for the soon-to-be free agent. Lillard is expected to miss much, if not all, of the 2025-26 season recovering from a torn Achilles. He suffered the injury in the first round of the 2025 playoffs against the Indiana Pacers. He also wants to rehab in Portland, as he has been, with the Bucks waiving and stretching him. Beal's lack of availability is comparable to Lillard's, short of the Achilles injury. Moreover, Lillard has made more appearances over the past 5 seasons than Beal has. At least 5 teams are expected to show free agent interest in Bradley Beal once he officially becomes available later this week, Forbes' Evan Sidery reported on X on July 6, naming the Heat among the group. As a pure scorer at a significantly cheaper annual salary, Beal's market among contenders will be robust. Bradley Beal expected to draw a major interest. The Heat would not be alone in any potential pursuit of Beal. The Bucks, Denver Nuggets, Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Clippers, and Lakers are expected to show interest, per Sidery. Bradley Beal is actively exploring his options with other teams in anticipation of a Suns buyout, league sources tell at the Stein Line. The Stein Line's Mark Stein reported on X on July 6. There will be considerable interest in Beal once he becomes an unrestricted free agent. The Heat still have access to the $14.1 million non-taxpayers mid-level exception, per Spotrac. Beal could make more sense on a short-term deal for the Heat. They would have to wait out Lillard's decision, only to have to wait for him to return to the floor during the season if at all. Miami also benefits from no state income tax, which the other rumored suitors cannot boast. After months of waiting, following his decline since the trade deadline, the LA Clippers have officially traded Norman Powell in a 3-team package involving the Miami Heat and Utah Jazz. This massive deal gives head coach Tyronn Lue, and more notably, James Harden, a lob threat he could only dream of. Furthermore, in this deal, Powell's premier scoring is shipped to the Heat, and LA lands John Collins, ridiculously talented and athletic power forward. The Jazz, as the last team, received Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 second-round pick. Initially, all 3 teams won the deal. The Clippers found a stretch big to shine in the front court next to Ivica Zubac, moving Kawhi Leonard to small forward. The Heat attained an elite scorer to pair next to Tyler Herro, and Utah latched onto 2 quality veterans and a draft pick while also moving on from Collins. Conversely, time will only tell. Yet the Clippers could be the only losers of the 3. They could have easily acquired more for a talent like Powell. Instead, they settled and are left with a top-tier alley-oop machine who presents several weaknesses as a power forward. The LA Clippers shut down their chances of contention next season by making a chaotic 3-team trade. The LA Clippers receiving just John Collins, with no draft capital attached, is a surprise, as the front office needs to add as many picks as possible. However, what is even worse is that Tyronn Lue needs a player like Norman Powell, who can score at all 3 levels, when Kawhi Leonard rests or is missing time. Flowers and praise are given to James Harden for the success LA had in the regular season, but Powell also dominated and was on a tear before the trade deadline. Nonetheless, the Clippers landed an all-star talent who recently averaged 19.0 points and 8.2 rebounds, shooting 52.7% from the floor and 39.9% from three-point range. This is great, but the aspect that most critics are ignoring is that he is 28, is not as capable as Lou may want in defending power forwards, and has had a negative assist-turnover ratio in the last 2 seasons. These key weaknesses make it difficult to believe Collins will thrive alongside Zubac, leading to inevitable struggles for the Clippers, as their second leading scorer is now in a position to flourish in the wide-open Eastern Conference. Over the weekend, it was reported that the Phoenix Suns were planning to buy out the contract of 3-time NBA All-Star Bradley Beal. It was a significant step forward in the relationship between the two parties, as Beal had previously refused to waive his no-trade clause, despite the Suns' efforts to move him around the trade deadline. Reports have since confirmed that he is giving up around $14 million of his remaining $110.8 million, which allows the Suns to waive and stretch his final few years of his contract, thereby avoiding both the first and second tax aprons. With Beal set to hit the open market, the expectation was that teams around the league would be lining up for the sharpshooter, with the Miami Heat expected to be the most eager to make a deal. However, that may have changed on Monday. In a 3-team trade involving the Heat, Utah Jazz, and Los Angeles Clippers, Miami acquired NBA champion Norman Powell, likely ending any pursuit of Beal. As for the Clippers, who ended up with John Collins, they may have just jumped to the front of the line for Beal. They can now pair him with Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, or use him as the league's best 6th man if he is open to that role. Although the Suns were willing to move on, Beal still averaged 17 points on 49.7% shooting from the field and 37.6% from deep. As for what the Heat gave up, they parted ways with Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson. While Powell, who was a borderline all-star this past season, may not be of the same magnitude of a Kevin Durant trade that Heat fans were hoping for, the two-way star certainly moves the needle for Miami in a weak East.